They control with emotion. We reveal the pattern. Psych Atlas.
You think a fake smile is obvious? You are wrong. The most brutal deception hides in the microscopic twitches you constantly ignore. Society taught you to listen to words, to politely nod along. But words are just cheap costumes worn by hidden predatory intentions. When someone over-explains a simple truth, their brain is desperately buying time. They are constructing a cage to trap your perception entirely. We miss these glaring signals because we want to believe the comforting lie. We eagerly accept the disguise because reality feels too cold. And this is where your vulnerability finally ends, because there is a specific 30-second sequence to dismantle their mask before they even speak. Professor Susan Whitbourne's research reveals the truth about micro-expressions. These microscopic facial spasms betray genuine thoughts before the brain can censor them. They last a fraction of a second. Watch the eyes. While the mouth builds a friendly smile, the ocular muscles remain utterly dead. Genuine joy contracts the delicate skin around the eyes involuntarily. A predator's smile is purely mechanical, a rehearsed puppetry isolating the lower face. Once you spot the dead eyes, listen to their vocal friction. A soothing tone paired with aggressive micro-movements exposes a concealed, hostile agenda. But isolating the face and voice is only the preliminary scan. The true leak of their hidden motive happens entirely in their hands. Watch carefully. When deception feels heavy, their hands betray them. They will touch their neck or collarbone. This is an unconscious pacifying reflex. The brain attempts to soothe a spiking nervous system. While they speak a flawless lie, their body reacts. It is pure panic. Dr. Ronald Riggio notes that prolonged eye contact isn't honesty. Liars intentionally hold your gaze longer, desperately overcompensating to sell their manufactured innocence. They stare directly into your eyes, studying your reactions to ensure the poison works. You become a hostage in their dark psychological theater. You assume you are just a helpless victim of their manipulation. But the uncomfortable reality is that you actively built your own trap. You project your own morality onto a predator. You see their actions through the distorted lens of your own desperate hope. They never start with the grand deception. They deploy tiny, calculated offenses, masquerading as harmless jokes to map your defensive perimeter. When you offer a nervous laugh instead of a firm boundary, you hand them the blueprint to your psychological destruction. You are the architect. By ignoring the microscopic behavioral shifts we just decoded, you practically begged them to exploit your blindness. Acknowledging your complicity is painful, yet absolutely necessary. Because the moment a manipulator feels they have established dominance, their mask slips completely. Here's what nobody tells you. They never shatter your boundaries immediately. They simply tap the glass to check for your resistance. When you smile politely at a disguised insult, you hand them a hammer, you grant permission for the psychological demolition to commence. The real shift happens when they gain a fraction of authority. Notice how their tone morphs. when addressing someone entirely lacking power. Words might drip with manufactured sweetness, but listen to the abrasive frequency hidden beneath. That harsh friction is their true face bleeding through. You assume this is a simple game. The terror starts when they weaponize silence, a tactic mathematically designed to shatter your sanity. Silence is usually considered peaceful. For a dark psychological strategist, it is an invisible garrote. They withhold basic responses to force your panic. When they refuse to engage, your anxiety spikes. You start over-explaining, frantically offering them ammunition. You are interrogating yourself on their behalf. To truly map this darkness, shift your gaze. Watch their micro-behaviors around targets who possess absolutely zero leverage. Empathy instantly evaporates. They treat subordinates like entirely disposable instruments. This sudden, chilling cruelty is not a temporary lapse. It is their baseline reality. And this brings us to the most dangerous illusion. Because reading their mask is utterly useless if they have already hacked your perception. They realize their mask slipped, so they do not apologize. Instead, they subtly alter the narrative. They make you the aggressor. Watch their posture shift from defensive to dominant. They cross their arms and tilt their head, projecting manufactured disappointment. You feel entirely crazy. Your mind scrambles to fix a mistake you never actually made. You surrender your psychological autonomy just to restore the fake peace. Here's the brutal truth. They rely on your innate desire for harmony. Your empathy is the engine powering their psychological centrifuge. You are spinning in their manufactured gravity. But there is a precise behavioral tripwire that forces them to instantly drop the disguise. The real shift happens when you stop playing their rigged game. When they expect panic, you must deploy absolute, unyielding stillness. A psychological predator starves without your reaction. Remain entirely silent. You force them into the exact freezing void they originally designed. Watch their eyes dart as their control evaporates. They will frantically over-explain, spilling the exact hidden motives you needed to be revealed. You no longer supply the reaction they crave. The game ends. You become an impenetrable monolith, observing their futile psychological strikes. Most people stop here, thinking the battle is won, but neutralizing the immediate threat is only half the psychological equation you need. You must detach completely. Stop listening to their carefully constructed promises. Instead, analyze how they treat someone who offers them zero immediate benefit. A predator might manufacture warmth for you, but their baseline cruelty always leaks onto the powerless. This is their authentic, unvarnished psychological signature. And this is where true authority begins. You stop deciphering every single lie and start anchoring yourself firmly in your own unshakable reality. You no longer react to their engineered emotional chaos. Instead, your mind becomes an absolute fortress, entirely impervious to their desperate psychological manipulation. They will eventually realize their tactics are completely failing. But before they retreat, they will attempt one final devastating move to break you. They will feign extreme vulnerability, weaponizing your empathy. It is a desperate illusion designed to drag you into their darkness. You are no longer blind. You watch their performance with cold clarity. When guilt meets silence, the parasitic bond shatters. Reading anyone instantly is never about controlling them. It is about becoming entirely untouchable in a world desperate to consume you. Thank you for watching Psych Atlas. Like this video to tell the algorithm you demand psychological truth. Subscribe to build your mental fortress and never be manipulated again. Next time, we decode the sinister mechanics behind the empathy trap. Do not miss it.